It's a 1993, originally a mini sprite automatic, but as you can see, it's been extensively modified over the years. I'll take you through some of the features of it. So it's a bit of a Cooper lookalike at the moment. It's got 12-inch wheels, ultralight, and the front brakes are Paddy Hopkirk 8.4-inch ventilated and grooved discs with EBC green stuff brake pads. It's got lovely stainless steel bullet type mirrors. The rear brakes are vented mini fins, and it has adjustable camber brackets, camber and toe brackets on the back, and gas shock absorbers all around, which are in great condition and fully adjustable. The exhaust is custom made, but it's based on a stainless steel RC40 system. The roof is genuine carbon fibre, exposed weave, but it still has the steel roof skin underneath. So the carbon fibre roof skin is just bonded on with Sikaflex over the top of the mild steel roof panel. So if I ever wanted to revert back to normal, it can just be removed. Now this car has had overseals in the past, but I've had a good look and they've not fitted overseals over rust or overseals over existing seals. They've been cut out and they've been fitted properly, and I've cut open the vents on both sides to allow it to obviously breathe. And it's all been waxawed obviously. The rear subframe was all out and overhauled, so it had a new subframe fitted that's been painted red. And as you can see, the seal on this side is normal type with the vents where they should be, and they're open. And again, yep, it's all been cavity waxed up inside there. Inside the boot is pretty plain. We've got our fuel set up here, so it's a Bosch fuel injection pump with a fuel filter and a Vauxhall red top battery and mount. The battery's fused separately, so the whole system's fused just in case anything goes wrong. And the fuel tank has been adapted to take a fuel injection return. But it's pretty solid inside the boot. It has been repaired over the years, but it's solid and rust free. Little dent in the rear bumper there. Some of the paintwork's not fantastic. It's a bit peeled off where there was a sticker before. But there isn't any real big bits of rust on the paint anywhere. Just some little scabs here and there. Nothing too serious. They're not perfect. But the car in general's reasonably presentable. I've not polished it for ages, so this is probably showing it in its worst form. I don't think there's any visual bits of rust, just the odd bit here and there. Just little scabs. Nothing's perfect, but it's not too bad. It's got LED projector style headlights on there with halo style indicators and side lights. And I do still have a standard type set of headlights for when it comes around to the MOT. Although it did pass the MOT with them last year. The headlights are pretty cool. They look really bright. So let's have a look under the bonnet now. One of the nice things is the bonnet's on gas struts. As you can see, all the trims have been replaced over the years. So there's no bonnet stay needed. It's just on gas struts each side. So the engine is a Vauxhall C16SE, taken from a Vauxhall Astra GLSI, although it is the same engine as a Vauxhall Nova GTE. So it's a multi-point fuel injection engine, overhead cam, 8 valve, and when this conversion's been done, it was done with an Allspeed subframe, Allspeed solid drive shafts, so they've not been cut, shut or welded up, and the engine was fully overhauled, stripped apart, new piston rings, big end bearings, main bearings, and I'm trying to think, everything really. New followers, new cambelt, water pump. It was in pretty good condition, but it was overhauled anyway. So it runs an MPI radiator on the front, and it has a secondary inner wing fan, so it runs 2 fans, one on the radiator and the one on the inner wing. So when the fan comes on, they both kick in. The front fan sucks air or blows air through the radiator, and the inner wing fan sucks it out through the inner wing. Brakes, obviously the servo's been moved from right to left using a proper servo relocation conversion kit from Allspeed to move the servo over. So the pedal's not overly excessive, and I replaced the master cylinder last year. And the brakes all work pretty well. It's never overheated. It's never really had a problem with overheating. And it just runs standard coolant in the system. The gearbox is a 5-speed gearbox. It's an F13 type gearbox, and it has the correct ratios as well, so I can't remember exactly what they are, but it does about 3,000 to 3,100 RPM at 70 miles an hour, so it makes it really nice for cruising. And on the track it will quite comfortably do 100 miles an hour or more without making a fuss. The slave cylinder's hydraulic, so that makes the clutch pedal feel not too stiff and nice and light. It's got a custom made Pertex clutch hose, so that will last forever. Compact air horns, and it also has the octane plug, so you can change the octane rate in a fuel, or you can use it as kind of a little bit of a tuning device. You can put different octane plugs in, and it will increase the fueling by a small amount or change the ignition timing. At the moment it's got the equivalent of the red octane plug in there at the moment, which gives the best you can get. And the subframe is all speed, so let's try and get a quick look underneath. So there's no oil leaks. This car does not drip any oil at all. It's completely dry, always has been. It's got rose jointed adjustable front bottom arms and tie bars, so that's all been adjustable, and it's all been set up properly. It was set up by Mini Speed when they were still in business, and it's got braided brake hoses all round on the car. Let's have a look at the quick valance while we're here. So again, it's all solid, pretty much rust free. It's got a track day hook because I have used it for track days before, and it's got 4 pretty much brand new Falcon tyres on it. I replaced them end of last year, and it's probably only done 300 miles maximum on those tyres. So they're Falcon 165 6012s. As we come inside the car, obviously you can see it's got a Cobra bucket seat, racing seat here, which tilts up like a normal seat, and the backrest is adjustable. And I can't remember where, but you can fold the back forward a small amount as well. Obviously it's got Sparco racing harnesses as well, and I've got the harnesses for both sides. I just haven't got round to fitting the other side yet. And it's still got the standard seat belts in the back as well. So potentially I can carry 2 passengers in the back, and it's okay for the MOT. The rear seat's been retrimmed, so this trim is from an MG ZR or ZS, I can't remember. So it's half leather. And I do have the matching driver's seat as well, which is in pretty good condition. Slight nick in the driver's seat, just in the fold here. But it's almost in as good condition as that one. It's got a safety devices roll cage in the back. Door trims are obviously trimmed to match the seats and the rest of the trim. Let's just sit inside the car. So it's got a Kenwood Bluetooth and CD player with a phone kit fitted as well if you ever wanted to use that. Got USB and a volt gauge up on the dash. The speedometer is a combined speedometer and tachometer microprocessor, but it also has inbuilt functions in it like 0 to 60 times, quarter to mile times. You can do all sorts of things, and it's all programmable and adjustable via a button on the side. So if I press that button now, it will recall the last highest values. So 6,800 RPM, 99.2 miles an hour. So I was obviously having fun that day. When you turn the ignition on, it will do a check sweep, make sure everything's working.
And then we have shift lights on here as well. I probably won't get them to go off unless I'm driving it. So the shift lights are progressive. They're obviously green, yellow, and then red. And you'll notice it has an engine management light as well, which I don't think any Mini has an engine management light, but this Mini does have. So that will give you DTC fault codes if there's something wrong with the engine. You can interpret the flashes of that to tell you what is a problem. And it has a diagnostic plug as well, which is up behind the dash here. So if you had a diagnostic tool, you could plug it in to read the fault codes, or you can just do it by blink codes off the dash. Again, just to show you sort of the quality of the build. The ECU isn't just chucked in anywhere, it's mounted properly up behind the dash there. It clips in and it's all mounted very nicely. And it's the original Vauxhall ECU and engine control unit system. Aside from that, what else? We got a smaller steering wheel, steering column is lowered. Obviously it's a 5-speed gearbox, so that is a remote shift, and obviously lifted up, so it's on a bracket, so it lifts it up so it's closer and a better driving position. Door furniture is DSN black alloy door furniture.
Just try and give you a better look at this subframe. Obviously it's all been painted. New handbrake cables, new brake pipes, unions. Would have had new brakes and wheel cylinders at the same time. But again, completely solid. So just some more detailed shots under the bonnet. So the bulkhead is all good, as you can see. It's a bit grubby at the moment. It does need a really good clean. I've not used it for ages, but there isn't any rust anywhere. Everything works as it should do. the engine's sweet and it pulls like a train. So it would be nice to know what it drives like, but obviously that's difficult to do on film. I do have other videos on the channel of it being driven at Santa Pod, Brands Hatch, and at Castle Combe doing track days, standing quarter miles, etc. Its best standing quarter mile was in 16.6 seconds, so it is pretty quick, but it's not the fastest Mini in the world. It's got 100 brake horsepower and 100 pounds-feet of torque. And that torque is delivered pretty low down the rev range, so you don't have to rev it hard to get it to go well. But it starts on the button every time. You'll probably be wondering so why am I selling this car. I've owned it 8 or 9 years now. I've done all of this. It was a standard Mini Sprite automatic originally. Just a bit bored of it. I want a new project. I want something different to do. I've had my fun with it. What are the bad bits about it? So the bodywork's just a little bit tatty. It's not that great. It's not show condition, but as you can see from literally couple of foot away, 6 foot away, it looks absolutely perfect. I'll try and point out all the bits I know. So under the headlights, it's just been touched in a little bit. No major rust, but it's just touched in. If you look very closely at the bonnet, there's a very, very, very slight dent there, which you can just see in the light. The scuttle panel I replaced, it's been replaced, but it's just been sprayed with rattle cans. It's a slightly different colour white, which is, yeah, what happens when you spray things with rattle cans. So you can see the difference between the wing and the scuttle panel. The paint's just a bit, it's just old. There's a scab there, it's always a bit weird. I'm never quite sure what that was. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier, there's a few little scabs on the bottom of the door, no visible rust yet. That's a bit of tree sap, that is. A little bit there. You know, there's no rust down the bottom here where they tend to go. The back here, it's all okay. Arches are a bit scuffed up. Round the back, rear valance is all good. Underneath and on top. So there's no rust there. It is pretty rust free, but like I say, you just look in the corners like this, it's just a little bit tired. A little bit of a touch up on the around the fuel camp there. Fuel's leaked a little bit down this side where it's been full up on track, so it's just marked the paint a little bit. This bit here has been repaired. That was rusty there before. I cut it out and welded in a new strip of metal there, so it's solid. A tiny little bit of just bubbling up at the back there. Again, bottom here is all fine. Tiny little bit there. The door, it's got a bit of a scrape at the bottom here. I think that's about it. Like I say, it's when you look close. From a few feet away, it looks really good. It depends how fussy you are. For my standards, I want to repaint the whole car, and I might do that if I keep it. Like I say, inside it's pretty tidy. It's worth mentioning I've got quite a few spares with this car as well. So I've got spare dash, Astra dash, because it uses a transducer for the speeder. I've got a few spares, sensors and things like that. I've got tooling to go with it as well. So
because it uses the Vauxhall gearbox and clutch, there's a special tool which means you can replace the clutch without taking the gearbox out. So I've got that tool, comes with the car, Sykes Pickavant tool. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really. The price is the price. I won't take any silly offers on it just because I don't need to sell it. I've got 2 other Minis over there, I've got another one over there. I'm literally only selling it because I want to get another project car. I want to do something a bit different. So, and if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. I'll just keep it for a bit longer. And if it doesn't sell, I might even strip it all down and get the respray done this winter. What else to know about it? So it's all registered correctly. That's really important. So it's registered correctly with the DVLA. It says it's a 1.6. It's got the correct engine number on the registration documents and engineer certificate, everything like that, and all the paperwork to back it up. In fact, it's got an absolute ton of paperwork of everything that's been done on it. One bad point as well, it was I think a category D back in 2006. It had a front end, and the cost to repair it was, I think, £1,200, which the insurance company decided it was too expensive to repair. So it was just a damaged repairable. It wasn't completely written off or anything like that, but it does show as it having been substantially repaired in 2006. And by substantially repaired, basically it had new wings and bonnet, and maybe A panels or something like that, but that's not unusual for a Mini. Most of them had that replaced anyway. It actually has a private reg number on it as well, which I will probably let it go with, to be honest. It's actually my initials and it was bought for my 30th birthday, so.
So I'm just adjusting the rear brakes because they've not been done since I've done the track day, and I noticed the handbrake was a little bit loose. So I thought I'd show you while I've got it off. The gas shock absorbers are in fantastic condition. That's right up underneath the arches. There's no hidden rust anywhere. It's all solid. And like I say, this subframe was all out a few years ago. It's a new subframe. It's got high-lows all round as well, which I forgot to mention. And the only thing I would say is this car is not for someone that's not mechanical, doesn't know anything about mechanics. It was custom built and it is converted, so you need to know your stuff. Sorry, the exhaust could do with a bit of a shine up. It is a stainless system, so it does come up really nice. But I just wanted to show you the up behind that rear valance there, where the cam rot. And again, this side, up inside the wheel arches, it's rust free.
And here's the brake setup on the front. So these Paddy Hopkirk, they're 8.4 inch, vented, drilled. They're not that old. EBC green stuff pads, as you can see, there's still plenty of meat left on them. The gas shocks, high lows, braided pipe, solid drive shaft, rose jointed suspension.